Hello, my name is Anastasia. I'm from Russia and currently I'm a third-year student in studying fashion design here in PolyU. But today I want to share something different. I want to share a very personal story, a journey of my mental health and my personal struggles. I've lived with eating disorder for many years. And for a long time, I was carrying an unbearable weight of shame related to it, and I kept it hidden because I felt too scared to share. But today, I want to share the story. I feel that I'm ready to, and I hope that for someone who is struggling, hearing that you may feel less scared and a lot more hopeful. Just to begin with my story, looking back, I realized that struggles related to my mental health started very young. I was actually a quite smart child, but my family had certain financial difficulties. So instead of focusing on some hobbies or like sports, they were doing a lot of homeschooling with me. And my mom appeared to be very talented and probably me as well. But so by the time I was entering school, I was so academically ahead that I was placed 2 grades above my age group. That created a gap between me and my classmates. And I think when you're a 7-year-old, the 2-year gap, that feels rather huge. It's like you're living in 2 different worlds. Though I was very lucky, I was not bullied by my classmates, but I often felt left out and that I don't really quite belong. So that feeling stuck with me and made me search for ways to bridge this distance between me and my classmates. I was longing to be socialized and to be accepted. And I think even then, in a way, food started to be the coping mechanisms, fighting with how I felt isolated and lonely. And as I grew older, this sense of self-belonging, it actually twisted in me having a very perverted understanding of self-worth, because I was thinking that what defines me is my appearance and my performance, and it was not really actually related to my personality on the genuine understanding of self-worth. And once I moved to better high school, I convinced myself that if I look better, I can better fit in. I was even actually covering my how old I was. For a while, it was a big shame for me to just accept that I am not 15 as everybody, but 13 back then. And also somehow I get engaged in a social media community which promoted extreme thinness. So I convinced myself if I will be very skinny, I will be very likable. So at some moment I just stopped to eat, and that's how I developed anorexia. And I think from that moment, my relationship with body and with food, they became completely distorted. But having said that, I couldn't sustain the restrictive eating for many years, and anorexia turned into bulimia. By the time I was 15, I started to live alone in Moscow. I entered university, and I also started modeling career. I mean, the latter one have added up some pressures regarding the way I look. But however, when I look back at it now, I understand that it was not so much the pressures of the industry, but my really fragile understanding of yourself, really fragile self-worth. The disorder, I must say, it actually affected the relationship quite badly because it made me build walls around myself. I kept people at a distance because I was so afraid that they will learn that I'm having this secret I'm so ashamed of. And at the same time, on the outside, I was looking very functional and even somewhat successful. I finished my first master's degree with honors. I was succeeding quite well in my modeling career, and I was traveling a lot. I don't think a lot of people suspected that although outside I'm looking, that my world looks so full, inside I feel incredibly small, lonely, and with the disorder being like the all-consuming center, and I'm just constantly navigating the labyrinth of rules, ritual, and self-criticism. Some people, I think, from my family, from my friends, or the people I lived with, they were suspecting that something is off. But this topic is having so much stigma around it that they were scared to approach it. About 5 years ago, things were quite bad, and I was thinking that no, that I cannot be helped unless I actually save up some money and I go do a professional rehab. And I think, I use it a bit of like an excuse to maintain things how I used them to be. But one night, during one particularly bad relapse, I accidentally hurt myself quite badly, as badly that it required ambulance and hospitalizations. And this experience deeply frightened me. It was so frightening because I suddenly realized it's not just about being dysfunctional. It's actually, if I don't do something about it, I may simply not survive. So I started my journey, but it's not like magically happened overnight. I don't think recovery happens for anyone overnight, but I enrolled into personal psychotherapy, and it was a long and difficult road. And after 1 year of this work, I decided to make a big move in the way I was living. At that moment, I was living for many years and working in mainland China. And I decided, okay, I want to pursue my dreams. I want to start everything over. And I moved to Hong Kong. I started second degree, so I enrolled here in PolyU. And I started to rebuild the relationship with myself and the food. So now it's been 3 years since I'm in recovery. And let me tell you, the journey, it was actually sometimes messy, sometimes felt slow, and with a lot of tears. But in the end, it's very rewarding. One of the most profound things I discovered during the therapy, which I would like to share, was that the eating disorder, things which I hated so much, was actually a coping mechanism for me. It was a way for me to survive because I had no idea how to deal with my negative emotions. It was not so much about the food, it's about feeling something which I don't know how to deal with, so I would numb it with the food. But by numbing negative emotions, I was also numbing my positive emotions. So letting myself feel, sometimes it's very overwhelming because I feel like I'm a teenager again with sudden burst of laugh or cry or something. But it's not frightening, it's more like, it feels rewarding. It feels, now I actually feel more alive than I've ever been. And the absence of disorder, it freed out so much mental space, time also for me, that now I can pursue the dreams I was actually having. I can enjoy the life and I can build true, really authentic connections. And let me tell you, I'm really happy with the circle of friends I developed over the last 3 years. And the life I'm living right now, I can say that I'm happy. While I cannot really say that I'm completely free of the body image issues, there are things which I'm still working on. I'm mindful about what I eat, but I'm really proud of the progress I've made. I learned how to eat and don't make a mess out of it, don't just turn into chaos. I can go enjoy dinner with friends or even to eat by myself, and it's not causing a sudden relapse. I've learned to appreciate everything, what has happened to me, even the very dark and bad things, like it's a part of my journey, that it what made me the person I am today. I also developed certain kind of curiosity, learning a lot about myself, trying to understand the reasons, the causes, connect them together. And together with that, I believe I became more empathetic, understanding of other people. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to share today, because I just want to give hope to everybody that recovery is possible, that you're not being defined by your problems. Actually, these problems is just a part of your story. They're not your book. You are so much more than the difficulties you're going through. And so if you are struggling and you know someone who is struggling, reach out, speak, talk. There are people who are willing to help, and just allowing you to share, which make your life different and you start this process.